Today I'm going to show you guys 2 ways to achieve the film look on your next project.
I need you so, and I can't go on without you. No, 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 without you, and I know. Love you so, and I won't go on without you. No, 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 without you.
In this chapter, I'm going to be showing you guys how I approach color grading using Dehancer only. A quick disclosure, they did give me a free copy in exchange for a review, and I've also only been coloring for about 10 months, so don't flame me in the comments, or do, because the algorithm loves that. So, let's go. So I don't necessarily have a go-to process for Dehancer yet, so we can just kind of find a look together that we like. So source, we can pick a camera. This was shot on a red Komodo with an Atlas Orion anamorphic lens. So we'll go ahead and do that for input. For film, let's do 500T, and then we can bring it over a little bit. All right, that looks nice. Okay, film developer, let's go ahead and hit enabled, and then increase the contrast just a tad, not too much, so we don't destroy anything. Let's see. I know a lot of people do the Kodak 2383 print film, so let's just see how that looks. Looks pretty nice. For film grain, I kind of like the 60mm, 65mm ISO 50. It's pretty clean. If you want a grittier image, you could do 35mm ISO 200. It's a bit intense for my liking, so I'll drop it down to like, let's say 20. Yeah, then let's go ahead and enable halation. It looks pretty good. Nothing too crazy. Bloom, I do like a bit of bloom. I think it softens your image a bit. Let's bring that up just a little bit, maybe like 65%. For film damage, I'm just going to go ahead and leave that alone. For film breath, we can add that. For gate weave, that will kind of give your image that little micro jitter. Nothing on the overscan. And then, yeah, let's enable the vignetting. It's before, it's after. So overall, that looks pretty nice. It's a bit boring. So let's go over to white balance. And I want my tint to almost have that La La Land feel to it. So let's go super purple with the tint. That's 50. Let's try 100. Okay, it's a bit much. Maybe like 75. Okay, yeah, I like that. 75 looks good. For exposure, we can drop the highlights a bit and then drop the shadows a little bit. And then I'm just going to increase my saturation to about 60. So overall, I think that looks really nice. It looks very believable. It's very subtle. It's not too much, but it also is a highly stylized look. I was going for kind of a La La Land / Once Upon a Time in Hollywood old school look. I think this image has a lot of character, and we didn't do too much to it. Like I said, I don't have a set system for how I use Dehancer, but as you saw, we just kind of played around with it and got a very nice, very clean looking image. So in chapter 2, I'm going to be showing you guys how to use Dehancer in tandem with Film Vision 2. To be honest, this is my favorite way to use Dehancer. It's just kind of a plug-in on top of my workflow. And so that's one thing that I do love about Dehancer is that you can go as custom or as dialed back with it as you like to go. All right, so now I'm going to show you guys how I use Film Vision 2 as a base and then use Dehancer on top of it just to kind of finish it off and give it a nice little polish. You can use Dehancer on top of whatever workflow you currently have. So even if it's not Film Vision 2, if it's something like Cineprint or from Juan Malera, you guys can go ahead and also still use Dehancer on top of it, which I really do enjoy. So let's jump in. Let's go ahead and apply this grade, which is Film Vision 2 from Sir. So right out of the gate, it's pretty flat. So how I like to start is go ahead and just bump that contrast. Maybe like a 1 point. Well, I usually do like a 1.4. Yeah, something around there. Go to your white balance. I want this to kind of have a warmer vibe. So let's go to 100. We can also bump our saturation to, let's say 75. And then for lab scan, let's go show compound node. For LUT, let's go Vision 2. We shot this on red Komodo. So let's do red. Let's exit our compound node really quick. Go to exposure. Drop the highlights a bit. Maybe drop that saturation. Okay. Let's go back into compound node and turn on 500T. Your highlight roll off you can turn on. Your 1/8 black pro mist. I like to crank that a little bit. D55, go ahead and turn that on. Gate weave, turn that on. And then let's turn the grain off. Turn the texture on, and then turn on the 250D. I know it's a little crazy to turn both 500T and 250D on, but let's just do it. All right, let's turn the halation off. So this is what we have so far. That looks pretty nice. Just a couple tweaks, and it looks pretty dang good. Now let's exit our compound node. We can come over here to Dehancer. Once I put Dehancer on, I'm going to turn pretty much everything off besides the film grain, halation, bloom, and vignetting. So for film grain, let's try 35mm 250. It's a bit heavy again, so let's drop that down to, let's say 20 something, 23. That feels pretty good. For halation, let's put it at 65 to 70 millimeters, and we'll do 70%. For bloom, we can turn that on. I only want a little bit of bloom, so we'll put it at like 4% because I think your image can look a little bit cheesy if you do too much bloom. So that's 4%. Okay, I like that. Leave the film damage off. Gate weave turned on, looks great. And then vignetting, you can turn that on. I'm going to go up on the size so that it's not so drastic. About 77%. And honestly, I think that looks great. I think that image looks very solid. This is actually my favorite way to use Dehancer in tandem with Film Vision 2, like I mentioned. Film Vision 2 is kind of my go-to power grade. It's kind of the base that I use for everything. And then on top of that, I love using Dehancer just to kind of finish the image off, give it a little bit more flair and uniqueness. So overall, that is how I approach coloring using Dehancer by itself, and then also in tandem with Film Vision 2. I hope this video was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely recommend Dehancer, and I also love Film Vision 2, as I mentioned. There is a discount code for 10% off for Dehancer in my caption, so go check that out, and stick around for more videos. Thanks, guys.